Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott and this is another My Bourbon Journey review. So if you're new to this channel and you're looking for reviews of different whiskeys such as bourbons and ryes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also consider hitting the bell notification. That will alert you to when I'm doing new uploads or doing live streams, things along those lines. Also, I wanted to make a quick mention. I have set up a PayPal account, which is basically something just to help fund the channel. If it's something you feel like you want to donate to, I'll have a link in the description below. So thank you very much. So today I'm going to be doing a review of Catoctin rye whiskey. This is a company or a distillery out of Percival, Virginia. This is a 92 proof or 46% ABV, 100% straight rye whiskey. So before we get into the review, I kind of like to go over a few just kind of interesting, things about the distillery. They were founded in 2009 by Becky and Scott Harris. Again, they're in Percival, Virginia. Also, just to kind of give you a little bit of other information, the word or the name Catoctin comes from an Indian or a tribal Indian name that they had is Catoctin, which they had identified as meaning place of many deer. So that's what they had kind of down. So just a little bit of a fun fact regarding the name and where that kind of came from. So one other kind of interesting note regarding this is they are certified organic, kosher, which was kind of interesting, and are also gluten-free. So the typically, I mean, there's a lot of gluten, in rye, but through the distillation process, the gluten is removed, or the certain amount of, or the limit that can technically be considered gluten-free is removed. Therefore, they can call this or consider it gluten-free. So just a couple of a little bit of a fun fact there for that stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the fun part here. So again, we're talking about Catoctin straight rye whiskey, 100% straight rye whiskey, and 92 proof. This is a single barrel product as well. So some of the ones that maybe you guys get, or if you do have, may be slightly different, but hopefully it's fairly consistent from that standpoint. So why don't we go ahead and, so typically what I try to do is with the reviews is we'll get into the color, we'll go through the nose, the tasting, the finish, and then kind of get into where it can be found, pricing, things along those lines. So why don't we go ahead and we'll get into the review. So as you can see, kind of a nice, kind of light bronze or a dark type of honey kind of color to that. So right away, what I got with this is, and I did some kind of tasting notes the other night, but I'm kind of getting again, I get this kind of buttery or buttery popcorn type of nose on that. Definitely a little bit of mint. I mean, with it being 100% rye, usually it's that mint kind of dill that you pick up. I'm picking more mint than dill. Definitely the rye spice, that rye grain is for sure coming through. And it's fairly spicy, not a lot of heat, at least on the nose, only being, 92 proof. Yeah, really nice kind of mint rye nose to that. So, and again, I'll maybe go back through a little bit of this. I'd like to try to add a little bit of water once I kind of get into the tasting. I'll re-nose it, retaste it then, just to kind of see what, if anything, the water does to that. So let's go ahead and we'll get into the taste. Cheers. So the first thing you kind of get right away is you get hit with a little bit of heat, I mean 92 proof, so it's got a little bit of something behind it. Really nice kind of sweet, spicy rye. And when I say spicy, I'm meaning, kind of that that peppery type of spice, a little bit of heat, lets you know it's there. It kind of gives you a little bit of that kind of Kentucky hug, so to speak. Really nice and viscous, coats the mouth really well. Still kind of pick up a little bit of that buttery characteristic that I got on the nose. For sure, pick up a little bit of the oak. The rye is really, really nice. It's kind of a bold rye, so that's really, really nice. That rye is really wanting to sit there kind of on that back or that mid palate. Just kind of keeps coming through, so really nice from the finish standpoint, or you can kind of feel it going into the finish. You know, medium type of finish so far, but really kind of sits there on that mid to kind of the back of the palate. Nice sweet kind of rye, lets you know that it's there. Get a little bit of that mint that's still there, so you can kind of get that, you know, not quite like, you know, tingly mint or anything like that, but it's definitely got a little bit of a mint characteristic to it. And the more I kind of, you know, continue to take a few sips and kind of coat the palate a little bit more, you start to pick up a little bit more, which is natural. You know, a little bit of a caramel characteristic. Some vanilla kind of wants to come through a little bit. I'm also picking up a bit of that I wasn't the other night, but I am now picking up a bit of like a maple or maple syrup type of note there. So that's kind of nice, and that's maybe just the more you kind of continue to talk, the more it kind of develops, sits there on the palate, coats the mouth a little bit. Really, really nice rye. Yeah, good rye spice. You get that oak, that mince there, that maple. So you got a good mixture of the sweet and spicy, a little bit on the peppery side. So it's more of a, I would say from a rye standpoint, more of a ramped up type of rye. So you get kind of hit with that really kind of earthy rye note mixed in with a little bit of kind of sweetness. So as it kind of sits on the palate, up front, you get kind of hit with the heavy kind of rye, spicy, that mellows out to a nice kind of soft, you know, sweeter, more like mapley type of finish. So really nice. And I know, looking through some of the information, just kind of on their website, again, which I'll also have linked in the description below. I'm going to do a link to a distillery tour that somebody recorded. I'll have that linked in there in case you want to watch kind of the process or their distillation process. So, but yeah, fantastic rye. You kind of get those different layers. You know, up front, again, you get hit with a lot of that, you know, spicy, peppery rye, followed by, you know, the mid to the back palate. You start to kind of smooth out, soften up a little bit, kind of get a little bit sweeter. Really, really nice rye. Price wise, I wasn't really able to find out the price range, but I thought I saw one other time that it was in the maybe $40 to $50 range. So, which has kind of become, you know, more of a standard type of pricing. That $40 to $50 range has kind of, you know, moved into the, you know, the mid-tier type of pricing regarding, you know, whether it's rye or bourbon or things along those lines. But really, really good rye. You know, even, I shouldn't say even though, but with it being 92 proof, you know, it will for sure hold up in cocktails. Would be really nice if you're looking for something that's, you know, bold, that you're going to get that nice rye spice from. This would be a fantastic, you know, rye whiskey for cocktails and things along those lines. So yeah, they've done a really nice job. But I think what I'd like to do now is just kind of add a little bit of water just to kind of see what that does, if that allows it to kind of open up, or if that takes away a little bit of the upfront or initial heat and or kind of rye spice. So, and I'm not going to add much. I'm just going to add maybe, we'll do 4 little drops. So we'll do that and kind of see what that does. Yeah, you still get hit with that nice mint kind of buttery characteristic, and maybe it even enhanced that a little bit. So it brought down, just the 4 little drops kind of brought down a little bit of the heat. Still that peppery rye spices is there. Brought out a little bit more of the maple syrup character in that. So it kind of sweetened it up a little bit just by adding the 4 drops of water. So that's always the interesting part with whiskey in general, is adding a little bit of water to it just to kind of see what it does, what it changes, if anything. But for me it seems to kind of bring out a little bit more of the sweetness in this, for sure. Again, kind of tamed down that little bit of upfront heat, brought out some sweetness, still that peppery spice up front, but kind of mellowed out a little bit. But fantastic rye. They've done a really, really nice job. And I know in the past they've won several awards, including awards at the San Francisco wine and spirits competition, which is kind of the big one in the United States. So they've kind of played with the big boys, so to speak. So they've done a really nice job. But just to kind of recap this a little bit, I guess let me back up just a little bit. So with this, depending on your area and the distribution, again, I'll have their information linked in the description below, so you can go check them out and find out maybe where you can make purchases at. But I wouldn't hesitate to pick this up, especially if you're a spicier rye fan. This would probably fit right into your category. But it also, not just that, I guess it does kind of also hit on the sweetness part of it, just different, levels as it goes along. But they've done a nice job. I think that's a good, kind of indicator of a good whiskey, is that it kind of gives you a different kind of level or layer as you kind of take it, sip it a little bit, so it kind of brings out different characteristics. So they've done, like I said before, done a really, really nice job. But anyway, so regarding the rye, so would I recommend this? Yes, I would highly recommend that you look them up. If you can find a bottle, pick it up. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Again, really good layering of flavors, and I think this would probably hit for just about anybody looking for a really solid rye. So anyway, so with that being said, again, hopefully you will leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, make sure you're hitting the bell notification. Again, that's alerting you to when I'm doing new uploads and or live events. And all that stuff really helps me out. I appreciate all the support. In addition to that, again, like I had mentioned in the beginning, I do have a PayPal account set up, which is basically something for you, if you'd like to donate to the channel. All of the money that is donated in some form or fashion goes right back into everything I do, whether it's through buying different equipment, or buying bottles, things along those lines, different stuff to review. All of that is appreciated. So with that being said, we'll see you next time. Cheers.